Hello, I'm Honor Belew. Welcome to the From the Top podcast series, where we have interesting conversations with interesting business leaders. Today, I'm here with Gabe Chrismon, who is co-founder of My Home and also CEO and founder of Adroit Restoration. Thank you for being here today, Gabe.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's great to meet you too and talk to you. So tell us more about your businesses.
Yeah, so I'll start with a little bit of short background on me, and then I'll kind of intro the businesses. It just makes more sense that way. So, my wife and I are both West Point graduates. Graduated 2014. Made the final move when we got out to Nashville in 2019, and I started our first business in 2020, which is called Adroit Restoration. So we specialize in water, fire, biohazard, mold, insurance losses. So if your residential or commercial property has an insurance loss or something happened to it that's covered under an insurance policy, we're typically brought out by the insurance company to restore and mitigate that property and then reconstruct the property. So that's Adroit Restoration. We've been doing that for about 4 years here in Nashville, and we've grown and scaled that pretty well. But what that allowed us to do is see some gaps and opportunities within the market, specifically the home service industry. Just through thousands of conversations with homeowners. And we were inside the homes, speaking to homeowners. The conversation obviously is kind of centered around maintenance and how to take care of your home, because of the reason why we were there for the restoration. So that led to seeing some opportunities from the homeowner side to create a marketplace platform that could solve some of their home maintenance needs, but in the new digital age. So My Home was eventually evolved into a home maintenance hub and a marketplace that not only stores all of your previous work and maintenance work that you're having done in your home, that will eventually create the Carfax for your home, but also serves as a marketplace to where the homeowner can find the highest quality vendors in their area. They can schedule, pay, and communicate all from one platform, which currently isn't really on the market right now, specifically designing for the homeowner and making sure that we're removing friction and adding convenience to the maintenance world of your home. So those are our two companies that we're working on here in Nashville.
Well, I mean, clearly there's a lot of need for both of those. I mean, I've been involved, not personally, but a house that I built had some trouble with some water damage, and you got to get that taken care of right away. So I'm sure you're a lot of people's best friend when you show up. They're happy to see you.
That's right. Yeah, we're their best friend at the beginning, and then as the process drags on, inevitably you're dealing with insurance companies and stuff.
Right.
The challenge is, yeah, right. The challenge is making sure we remain best friends.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's a great industry. Ups and downs, peaks and valleys, as with any. But it's been really good to us. So
Good. And I love the convenience of My Home and what you're talking about, because you get overwhelmed, all these different vendors you need to reach out to, and who do you talk to, and how do you keep track of it? So you have an app that helps you keep on top of all of that?
yeah, that's right. So our app is serves as your maintenance hub. And what I mean by that is, you can store all necessary documents for your home in it. So your insurance policy, your agent information, your deductible, the deed to the house, and as well as all historical work. And what that does for the homeowner is number one, it starts to create the Carfax for homes,
Yeah.
which isn't on the market right now, and we can really affect some cool industries and change the sell of your home. If you're the buyer and you know that this person's had quarterly HVAC maintenance, annual roof inspection, they've flushed their water heater every year, because of our platform stores that, and it can have an easily transferable data if the homeowner chooses. You could maybe make some more money on your house, right? Not
Yeah.
to mention extend the life of those really expensive fixes, if you're not trying to sell your house. And then the other side is, businesses have what's called a CRM. If anybody's listening to this and is in the business world, you have a CRM. It's just a customer relationship management. So,
Right.
it's how we maintain our relationships with all of our customers. But the homeowner doesn't have that. And the homeowner doesn't have a convenient way to do that with their vendors, specifically the contractors and the maintenance people that are at their homes weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or on a semi-recurring basis. And what we really mean by that is your landscaping, your house cleaning, your pest control, pool maintenance, handyman. There's so many of these things to where, especially if you're moving into a new city, you've got to
Right.
find these guys. You have to make sure they're quality, right? So what we're doing is we're doing all that work for you. We're putting it in one spot where you can still maintain those relationships from hiring, communicating, scheduling, and paying all on one location.
Well, and Nashville is perfect for that because there's so many people moving in here, right? The number is something like 100 people a day moving into
Yeah,
Nashville. So they don't know. They don't know who to
that's
call. They'll
right.
rely on their realtor or, and I'm assuming that you're working closely with realtors to try to get this information into the buyer's hands.
Absolutely. And we've got, realtors are a great partnership for our go-to-market. But also we have a really unique opportunity to offer different packages. So within our platform, we have what's called the move-in package, and it's a flat rate, one payment, and it includes hours of handyman service, junk removal service, discounts on your home security, a move-in clean. It's all those things that you need when you're moving into a city that you don't have time to think about because you're
Right.
moving, maybe getting the kids at school, starting a new job. We are trying to make that as convenient as possible for you, the homeowner. So the homeowner can purchase that, but also the realtor can purchase that as a gift, or as pulling a piece of their commission out, which is super critical in today's real estate world. With the changes in the commission structure for agents and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think now's the time where agents really have to provide significant value. And we think that we're perfectly positioned to partner with those realtors to provide that value to homeowners.
That's fantastic. So true. Yes, a lot of changes in the real estate industry. So
Yes, it's been interesting.
what's your 5-year vision for these businesses?
Yeah, so for adroit restoration, I'm working on a pretty unique opportunity, I'd like to call it, to where I'm searching for commercial insurance agents who want equity within our company and to help us scale and grow it. And really what we're looking for there is I want to take care of our clients from beginning to end. And if we have a partnership, a mutually beneficial partnership with certain agents to where they can be guaranteed that their customers, their precious clients that they have to maintain and keep for their business are taken care of in their most important time of need, which is when, let's say you're the owner of an apartment complex and you just had a 2-story flood, right?
Yeah.
Agent needs to shine at that point. And if he's giving a referral to a business, he or she needs to feel very comfortable that they're going to take care of that property and they're going to take care of that client like it's their own. So what I think is a unique and creative structure is partnerships with these agents to where they have equity within our business. And we all mutually benefit, both the customer, both the company, and the commercial agent in that relationship. So I would love an opportunity to work with commercial agents and have those types of conversations if that's something interesting. Which would really, there is a benefit to my business as well. It would help us scale and grow, right? The
Mm.
restoration industry is very competitive.
Okay.
We're right here in Nashville, which is the backyard of the headquarters for the largest restoration franchise, Surf Pro. So it's a hard landscape to compete, and you can't do it with traditional advertising methods. So we're just trying to get creative and really scale out our business.
Interesting. So, do you work directly with consumers at all, or do you work mostly through your partners?
With Adroit Restoration, it's mostly through our partners. So, we're our sales efforts are mainly B2B. What we're trying to really nail down is have as many one-to-manys as possible. And what I mean by that is we need clients. So we want to develop these relationships with insurance agents, both residential and commercial, to where they can trust us. They know we do great work. They know we have great people. They know we're here for the long haul. And they're the opportunity for us to scale and grow and get more business. In the restoration world, I'm having trouble making sense marketing and advertising to direct to consumer. unless you have a large advertising budget, just because of the numbers. I think last year, about 2% of insured homes filed a claim that were related to our business. So you can do some easy math and see what the opportunity there is.
Yeah.
And unless you have a large advertising budget, I would say advertising direct to consumer for the restoration business is probably a losing battle at this point
Okay.
for us.
Okay. Interesting. So have you always kind of had the entrepreneur bug, or is this something that came up recently?
Yeah, I have. I did about 6.5 years as an infantry officer in the military. The military, I wouldn't trade for anything. Very proud of being from West Point and my service. But it's a structure that is designed to operate after you leave. So it has to have systems in place. It has to have structures in place that can almost lend itself to not requiring you to think creatively, in
Ah,
certain jobs of the military.
okay.
And that's the way it's designed. That's how it works, right?
Right.
We want, in the military, especially infantry, we want muscle memory when it comes, especially to combat. You don't want to have to think creatively. At first, you might have to get creative, but you definitely want battle drills is what we called them. So I say all that because I've had an entrepreneur bug that I had to put on pause while I was in the military. But I would say one of my first entrepreneur experiences was we were in third grade. I'd organized a wall ball tournament, which is just a game you play on the playground, and I charged every team 50 cents to join the tournament. And I kept 25 cents, so pretty good margins on my first
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
And I had a bag of coins, and the tournament came, and I left them at home. And my mom brought them to the school and said, "Hey, Gabe's wall ball money, he left it at home," and the school had no idea what I was doing. So I had to return all the money, and we had to
Oh,
cancel the
you
tournament.
did.
Yeah, so yeah, I've always liked to obviously leadership is in my background with the military stuff. I've always liked to lead and manage teams. That's where a lot of my passion lies in business as well. But yeah, I've always had a kind of a creative mind, and wanted to go out and create a business. So yeah, it's been a bug in me for a while.
Yeah, that's awesome. So your co-founder, who's your co-founder for My Home?
Yeah, so with my home, Lindsay is my wife and co-founder. She is a full-time Harvard Business School student right now. She lives in out of town. She lives in Boston
Mhm.
area, and I'm here running the businesses and working on the businesses day to day. But Harvard's provided a great opportunity for her to you know, long-term vision, growth, and work with mentors and in their innovation lab, and really just be around a lot of really sharp-minded people, which has helped evolve our business model for my home. So yeah, she's we decided that we've been in the military together. She was a helicopter pilot, first female in U.S. Army history to fly what she flew.
Wow.
She went to West Point as well. Now she's at Harvard Business School, and we've done deployments. We've lived in different cities. So we were like, all right, we've done all this hard stuff. Let's try the next hard thing, which is running a business together. So
Yeah.
it's going. We complement each other pretty well. Her strengths are my weaknesses and vice versa. So yeah,
That's
she's worked pretty hard on it.
that's fantastic. I love to hear stories like that about couples because it can be really challenging. It's extra challenging, I think, when your spouse is your business partner because
Yeah,
in some cases it's hard to not talk about business, right? Outside of business, and so it becomes your whole life. So it's good to hear
that's
how
exactly
much
right.
you guys are balancing that. So
Yeah. You got to make a conscious effort to not talk about business at some point. So yeah,
yeah,
that's a I think we'll continue to get better at that. It's definitely a learning curve there for us. So
yeah. Well, she sounds like a great partner. So tell me, what's been the biggest surprise to you since you started your businesses?
yeah, I'm a team guy. Grew up playing team sports. I really enjoy the team aspect of things. And when we started Adroit, and even my home, uh, no one's gonna love it like you do. And I had a misunderstanding of that at the beginning. I thought, this is great. Everybody loves it. I just had it in my mind that everybody was going to work as hard as I was. Everybody's going to put in the hours I was putting in. Everybody was going to sell the business like I was selling it. Um, but that's just not reality. And, that's no fault of anybody's, but I was just naive on it. Um, you know, at some point, some people have a job. And if you're hiring for certain positions, maybe certain other positions, you should probably hire people that, have a passion for the business and want to make a difference in your business, and want to be there for the long haul. But there are people that just need a job, and that's perfectly fine. And I think if I would have had a better understanding of that, it would have eased some heartache and some things that maybe felt personal, people leaving
Yeah.
unexpectedly, things like that were hard pill for me to swallow at first because I couldn't see it from their lens. And then when I did, it was obviously no longer personal, and it made a lot more sense. So that was a big shock for me at the beginning.
Yeah, it's a good learning opportunity, right? These surprises, they give you the opportunity to look at things differently, to respond, decide how you're going to respond, and then how you're going to maybe do something differently in the future.
That's
Right.
right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Um, what would you say? So that was the biggest surprise. What would you say have been the biggest learnings? I mean, you've had an interesting background in the military. What are your biggest learnings from life or business?
Yeah. Start with business. I would say, as an entrepreneur, because, I do believe there's a huge difference between a big company CEO and an entrepreneur or a founder. I think you can put a Fortune 100 CEO in a startup founder role, and they would struggle. Just as you put the founder or startup in a Fortune 100 CEO role, and they would struggle. It's just a different person. Um, so, knowing that, I am much more in the founder startup role. And I think, the big lessons in entrepreneurship that I've learned is there's extreme highs and extreme lows. And those can happen within the same morning,
Yeah.
right? The business entrepreneurship world tends to balance you, and you'll get great news and then you'll get horrible news the same day. So I think if you can be comfortable knowing that, bad news doesn't have to be bad news. It can be an opportunity.
Mhm.
It can be opportunity to grow. It can be opportunity to make your business better. I think if you can reframe your mindset around how you look at failures within your business, you're going to treat your employees better. You're going to treat your customers better, and you're going to be happier. So, yeah, I think that's probably been my biggest lesson is kind of having to reframe how I looked at those failures, because they happen all the time, and they happen to every business all the time. You're nothing new, right? So you shouldn't be ashamed of those, and you should look at them as an opportunity to get better and make your business better.
There's a reason why they say failure is the best teacher, because it is going to happen and you do have to respond to it, right? And you get to learn and you get to decide how resilient you're going to be. Are you going to dig a hole and stay there for a couple of days? Or are you going to take a step back and look at it, try to look at it objectively and see what's to be learned here, right?
That's right. Yeah, and like I think that's entirely true. And resiliency and grit is huge in entrepreneurship. Um, to answer the personal question, biggest personal life lesson is it's a bit stolen. But I like to put perspective on things that are going on. If you look at what your future grandpa, grandma, 80, 90-year-old self would think about the situation you're currently in, um, it's very unlikely that they would think it's as serious as you think it is in the moment,
Yeah.
which just puts a little bit of reality on the situation, and it kind of helps with the other thing, which is it's not the end of the world. It's a small setback. The only way at this point for you to lose is if you just lay down and quit.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I think that they kind of complement each other there,
Yeah.
but you can certainly apply it in both personal and business.
Yeah. Yeah. When it's your own business, it's there's a lot of overlap, right? So,
Yes. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
and like you said in the beginning, it stays somewhat personal with you because it's your business, but in the beginning, it's very personal. But until you learn, like you said, that it's not the same for everybody, and so you have to not take things as personally, right?
Yeah.
So,
And
how do
even
you? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gabe.
no, I was just adding at the beginning when you lose a sale, it seems personal. A
Yeah.
customer chooses a different company. You're like, what, you don't like
Yeah.
me? You're like,
Right.
it has nothing to do with you, man. It's all about the
Right.
business. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm a nice
It's-
person, right?
yeah. Yeah. What's
Wife
wrong
or
with me? Like,
yeah.
yeah. Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Um, so how do you define success? And who comes to mind when you think about success for you?
Yeah. I'm under the belief that there's, um, your motivator is your motivator, right? I think people try to get unnecessarily sexy with what their day-to-day motivator is, right? I don't believe in the you have to have passion in everything you do. I think that deters more than anything else, because people go, well, I don't really have passion for anything in business, and they never create a business. I
Mm,
think people who become successful in business find passion when they're reaching success. And I think people find passion even in parts of non-success. I think people find passion in, oh man, I really hate my industry, but I love building my team. I love creating change for my employees and seeing their lives change with our business success. So I think I think that that's a huge part to me is knowing that and knowing that within the business you got to just take what you can take and let that be your motivator. So to answer your question, I am motivated by a big business. I'm not I don't want to have a small business. I want to have something that positively affects a lot of people and that people use. So I am motivated by scaling a business and growing my business. I would love for it to be, more than one state. I'd love for both of our business to be national someday. There's franchising opportunities for the restoration company. There's obviously scaling for the tech company is very doable. So I'm personally motivated by growing a big healthy business that does make money. And I think that is a major label of success, in my opinion, in business. That's coupled with balance, right? I think if you have that but don't have this over here personally, then that's also not success. So, the business side, I do want to scale and grow our businesses to where they can positively affect as many people as possible. But on the other side, if I lose my relationships with family and friends, then it was all not worth it, right?
hmm
So I think the most successful people I see in business are the people that can manage both of those. And they've managed their relationships with their spouse, with their kids. They're still active in their kids' lives. They have a healthy, hobby outside of their business, maybe.
Oh,
And if you don't, that's also okay, right? If you love your business, you might not need the hobby. But I think the biggest thing there is balance between a majorly successful business and a majorly successful family.
hmm And I think, I love asking people that question because everyone defines success differently. It is a unique individual perspective.
Yeah.
And I love what you said there about balance because, what do they say? All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy or something like that. But
Right. Yeah.
it's it's true because even if you, in my opinion, even if you love your business, it's not going to fulfill you in all the different ways. And so it's an ongoing um, requirement for balance to continue to focus on it because it doesn't just
Right.
happen. You know, just set it up and it just happens, right? It's something that you have to make an effort toward, and anything that's worth working hard for is worth working hard for. So I think that
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that it's an important thing to think about and be intentional about. So I appreciate you bringing that up. So is there anything
Yeah.
else that you'd like to share, if people maybe starting to think about starting their own businesses or anything else about your business?
Yeah. I've got some advice that's, for people, maybe the 22-year-old or even, the 52-year-old who is retiring from their corporate job they've had for 30 years and they're going to spend some retirement money on starting their business.
Yeah.
I think, like I mentioned earlier, your motivation can just be whatever you have, right? If that's anger, use it until it's not anger, right? If it's fear of failure, use that. It doesn't have to be this thing, this immense passion that you love. And I've yet to meet a business owner that just loves every single aspect of every single day that they do it, right? It just doesn't exist. And I think
Right.
that, with social media and all that stuff, a 22-year-old could get confused and
Hmm.
think, well, I don't like anything that much in my life right now, right?
Hmm.
And it would deter really good entrepreneurs because they might have this misunderstanding. What I would say is, pick the industry you want to be in, and this applies to that 22-year-old and that 52-year-old. Network your ass off, excuse my language,
That's fine.
and find somebody in that industry that you can pay a consulting fee, good money, to be your go-to guy. And instead of joining a franchise or joining a group here, or joining this, say, hey, Bob, who's 60 and has been in lawn care for 40 years and maybe sold his company and did it successfully. You say, I'm 22 years old and I really want to be an entrepreneur. I want to start my lawn care company. Instead of spending this money on a franchise or, this consulting company, I want you to be my guy. We talk every single week. I can ask you questions anytime. I can call you anytime. And they're your source. And that's the only thing that guy's doing. He's probably retired. And at that point in his life, he wants to give back. He wants to send the elevator back down, right? And maybe he doesn't charge you, but I think paying for his time is gonna make him put a little bit more effort into it. And I think that's a far better investment in you and your business than joining a franchise or joining a group or doing, X, Y, and Z. So, not to disparage any franchises, but I think I work with a lot of home service companies with my home, and even the large brands. There's a lot of unhappiness with support. And I think people should put that same money, put it into somebody who knows the industry, possibly lives in your area, has the connections in the industry, and is willing to go, hey, for 12 months, I'm going to work right alongside of you. You're going to pay me this, and I'm going to be your go-to guy, and you're going to learn everything in the next 12 months. And if you do that, there's absolutely no way you could fail in that business in the first 12 months.
All right. Great advice. Interesting. I haven't heard that before. I love that. I think that's really, and I think that's going to connect well with the young people. Like you said, they're watching social media, they're looking on Instagram and everybody's life looks perfect. And they're like, how come
Yeah.
I'm not passionate about something? Right. Well, that's not reality.
Yeah. It's not. It's like, we have a restoration company. I'm not passionate about mold, right?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a thing, right? You can have aspects of your business that you're passionate about. Choosing a business needs to be about the industry you want to be in. And if you can look at what success looks like in that industry and you want to live that life, then do it. And what I mean by that is success in restoration is you're 24/7. So, and that's a
Yeah.
good thing because that means you have business coming in. But if you don't
Yeah.
want to live that life, then don't enter it
Right.
because success is going to not make you happy. So, and that's where that consultant and mentor would really come into play because they can give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you can make a well-informed decision. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Very interesting. I love what you're doing. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you again for making time to be here today and to share about your business and about your perspective. I think you have a lot to, a lot to share, both from what you're doing and getting that message out there, but also for people that are thinking about doing something similar or trying to figure out what they want to do. And I appreciate you saying not just the 22-year-old, but also the 52-year-old, because there are a lot of people making a change like that later in their life, and there's some stay-at-home moms or moms that are trying to figure out how can I work from home and do my own thing, have my own business, and so I don't have to go into work every day. And I think that's a good message for them too, to really think about what you want to do and find somebody to help you. So,
I think that's actually the bulk of people starting businesses right now are 40s and 50s because they're either getting tired of their corporate gig or they're done with that and they're moving on and they've got some money to dig into something that they like. And or might find interesting. And I'm happy to have conversations on that from somebody who's recently done it. Happy to speak to anybody who wants to speak to about any of that stuff. And the only other thing I'll kind of leave it with is we a selfish kind of plug here is we've got kind of our prototype coming out for my home, and we're just going to look for feedback. So we have a simple landing page with some questions and clickable videos you can walk through, and we're just looking for user homeowner feedback, so that way we can make sure we're building a product that people want. So yeah, any help on spreading that word selfishly from our side would be great.
Okay, good. Yeah, we'd be glad to. Would love to help you if we could. All right. Thank you so much, Gabe. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you.